Now, okay, and they didn't mention this, which isn't a big deal, but okay, so Jor-El was like clearly a Navy SEAL, right? So he's a scientist, but he's like fighting, like he was fighting Zod and like beating him.
Well,
like,
yeah.
Aren't you part of the science? Like, if everybody has a job, and your job, he's like a paladin. My job is scientist and
Mondays
lawyer.
and Wednesdays goes.
He goes. Yeah, right.
Kung Fu.
Yeah, but you're gonna
classes.
tell me that Jor-El is not gonna be someone who knows how to fight, man, from a warring planet, and he has like the armor. Like, you think he has that armor just for decoration? Like, no,
Trent,
he has armor because he knows how to fight.
God, Trent, you're the best. You find any way to justify it, man. What are you talking about?
I think his point is like they should have like somehow drove that
why
home
you
and
could
showed why. Or
okay,
how,
now, right,
but it's
because
not a big deal.
It's not a big deal. It's just because when I was watching it again, I was watching it like this guy does, where he's got like, the magnifying glass, and I'll tell you what's wrong with this movie. And then I was like, okay, I'm gonna stop. I'm not gonna watch the movie like this.
Judging eye.
But for the first part, I did. So this is what I found. But
you know what's funny? I was watching it again with a friend of mine. Like, when I was watching it again, I was like, yeah, he's a pretty good fighter for a scientist.
You flipping hack, and then you're gonna come right here and be like, no, wait a minute. You don't think?
Did you see his armor? Come on, he's like
He said
got
it
a
himself,
somewhere.
and he's like, I'm not gonna say it to you guys.
I'm not gonna give you the satisfaction of trying to prove me wrong.
Right. I mean, the funny thing though is, you could make it work. I mean, maybe you don't want to spend like 5 seconds worth of film time doing it.
Yeah.
But clearly he was a bit of a rogue, right?
Yeah.
Because he talked about we had a child, Laura and I, we had a child, and it was like basically off the books kind of thing.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, what are you talking about?
Heresy.
Right. So it was clearly clearly he was a bit of a rogue.
Yeah.
Dude, so maybe he would, learn how to fight, learn how to do whatever.
That's a good,
like
maybe
because he's doing his own thing. Like clearly he's supposed to be a scientist, and they made it sound like when you're born or whatever, you have a job. We're gonna put you to it. So he was clearly a scientist.
And probably decided on his own, like, I don't agree with everything here, so I'm gonna do my own thing.
Right.
That's true.
Which was like they had a comic series in the 90s with Superman where they were talking about his origin, and it was interesting because they kind of said the reason why he survived, the reason why Kal-El survived, was he wasn't actually born on Krypton. Like he was actually like born like basically as the ship was taken off. He wasn't, because everybody that was, and then, again, this goes back to a series they were doing in the 90s where everybody that was born on Krypton was basically like genetically, they were like linked to the planet, so you couldn't leave it. And it goes into the Eradicator, like I mean, we could do a couple stories on Superman. We're talking about Man of Steel right now. We can do a story on Superman, and maybe I'll save it for that. Maybe.
Okay, yeah.
But the story was a great origin story, and like talking about how Krypton was like, people they weren't kissing. There was no, you know what I mean? There's no sex. If a child was made, it was pretty much like they said in this movie. You took some parts, or you know what I mean? You genetically put them in a pod,
right.
You let them get born that kind of way, and then you gave him a job.
That makes sense. Well, I think I think that's a big theme of the film too. That's not. I mean, it's not. It's pretty theme. Like, it's a pretty big theme about like you're about how do I say this, like just that control of the world, and having like no choice, and which is eventually what brought the world down, and I think Zod was just gonna come back and be like, well, the solution is to build a new Earth, or a new Krypton.
New Krypton.
No, like, you guys messed up the first Krypton, so the answer isn't to try to go and start and do it again. It's to learn from your ways and fix the problem. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I mean, and I think Zod heavily represents like power without restraint. I think in that regard, that he just was like, well, we failed and we'll just build a new one and it'll be better. Like, no, like. It's not.
He was very just.
Which is cool about Zod, is that every, like he says, like every fiber of my being is
dedicated
like,
to Krypton.
For preserving the Krypton,
right?
The legacy of Krypton,
Yeah, and I completely believe. You know what I mean? I believed it, even if he was trying to restore Krypton in a dark way.
Yeah,
like to him, like killing the people of Earth to restore Krypton is no big deal. To him, that wasn't dark. I mean, his dark moment was when he turned on Krypton in the beginning. And was killing those people. So killing a bunch of, worthless people on this planet
that don't mean anything to him.
That wasn't anything to him.
Yeah, people they've gone through different planets and taken over anyway. So
and apparently, it's not easy. So
he was like engineered to protect Krypton, and and he'll do it at any cost.
And I think you mentioned this before, and maybe you got it, somewhere in here. But he is a great protagonist. He is a great antagonist. Yeah, thank you. Well, the movie I was watching, he was a hero because he was just trying to restore his people.
I was rooting for him.
I don't know if that with you. Jeez.
But no, it really good. I loved it. I love the performance, man.
Yeah.
He had from the beginning. Like you already knew what he wanted.
Right. Yeah.
And
there's there's like power in his delivery too. Man. Every line.
I will find him. I will find him. Or he gets frozen up and sent into dildos up until
those were penises, man. Those for sure were just penises. Yeah.
Straight into
into the triangular shape.
Maybe I did not.
Phantom Zone. Right, I'm just saying, but
Phantom Zone.
Right, but why? It's just, this is off topic. But why is every rocket the shape that it is? Because that's what you need to pierce the atmosphere to get out of space. You're not going to pierce the atmosphere with something flat.
Okay, don't say pierce anymore.
But did it have to be the shape?
Intersect.
Did they have to be the shape of dildos or penises? No, it didn't have to be. But
penetrate. Use that. We'll use penetrate.
That's what they did.
I don't think that's any better. I think it penetrates has a more negative connotation. Yes, go back to Pierce. Let's reinstate Pierce right there.
All right.
But yeah, man, Michael Shannon I thought was fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh man, he was great.
Yeah, he was the fan. I thought he was so great, man. He plays a great villain.